जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम, जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम, जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय ललित विशाख जय राधे श्याम, ललित विशाख जय राधे श्याम, जय ललित जय राधे श्याम, ललित विशाख जय राधे श्याम, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। जयं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद्वै चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवत्सदि गौर भक्त वृंद की, श्री 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 वृंदावन धाम की, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा माई की, जमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी की, तुलसी महारानी की, समवेत भक्त वृंद की, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की। All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from chapter 17 of the Gita, which is entitled The Divisions of Faith. Verse number 19. Mudhagrahenatmano yat pidaya kriyate tapaha parasyotsadhanartham va tattamasamudahritam. Mudhagrahenatmano yat पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्।
मूढग्राहेणात्मनो
ग्राहेणात्मनो यत्
पीडया क्रियते तपः
पीडया क्रियते तपः
परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा
तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् मूढ़ा foolish grahena with endeavor atmanah of one's own self yat which pidaya by torture kriyate is performed tapaha penance parasya to others utsadanartham for the sake of causing annihilation va or tat that tamasam in the mode of darkness udahritam is said to be penance performed out of foolishness with self torture or to destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. You can all repeat. Penance performed out of foolishness with self torture or to destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Purport. There are instances of foolish penance undertaken by demons like Hiranyakashipu, who performed austere penances to become immortal and kill the demigods. He prayed to Lord Brahma for such things, but ultimately he was killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To undergo penances for something which is impossible is certainly in the mode of ignorance. So we'll start this chapter. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutim Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So this chapter is a very interesting chapter, divisions of faith. In this chapter we will be reading about, so to worship anyone, the very first thing that is very essential is faith. Without faith we cannot worship anyone. Some people have no faith in anything, so that is also, they have faith in faithlessness. That is also, they have faith in faithlessness, like the atheists like that. So like that, the faith is very important. Even the bhakti starts with Ado Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya. So very first thing is faith. So there are three types of faith corresponding to and evolving from three modes of material nature. So Purusha, the Lord says in 13th chapter 22nd verse, Purusha Prakritis Tohi Bhunkte Prakritis Jan Gunan Karanam Guna Sangosya Sadasadyoni Janmashu. We have been associating with this material modes of nature since time immemorial and getting into different species of life. So we don't know when we 14th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is completely dedicating on these three modes of material nature. What the three modes are, how they act on us, how they bind us, and how they liberate us. So the 14th chapter, Krishna is elaborately explaining what is the mode of goodness, what is mode of passion, what is mode of ignorance. When did the living entity come in contact with material nature? It is said, Sattvam Rajastamaiti Gunaha Prakriti Sambhavaha Nibadnanti Mahabaho Dehe Dehinam Avyayam. He says that material nature consists of three modes, goodness, passion and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with material nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. Modes are compared to ropes, they bind us. So this is when the living entity came in contact with material nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. We think we are so independent, we are free to do whatever we like, but actually the more we think we are free, the more we are bound by these modes. We see those how the ropes are binding. So who can unbind us? One who is free, they can, one who is bound cannot unbind the other person. One who is free can. So like that, the modes of material nature, they are constantly we are being associating. According to our association with the modes, we develop a particular faith. This chapter is entitled as Divisions of Faith. So different divisions of faith, and how we can find out what mode a person is in by the way they act, the way they eat, the way they perform sacrifices, austerities, everything, their way they are living their lives. That is how we can determine what mode they are working in. So like that, a person who is in knowledge, he can see a person just by the way the varieties of foods he is choosing to eat and the type of austerities he is doing, the type of everything, we can see how the person, what time he is sleeping, what time he is awaking. All this thing we can know which mode this person is working. That is why this knowledge is very important. When we have this knowledge, when we see others, then we can know, oh, this person is acting in this mode like that. And in the material world, nothing is pure. Everything is contaminated by the three modes of material nature. So what is transcendental knowledge? The knowledge that is not affected by these three modes, that is called transcendental knowledge. In this material world, everything is contaminated by the three modes. The Lord says in 18th chapter 48th verse, Natadasti pritivyam va divide veshava punaha sattvam prakriti jairmuktam edebi syatribir gunai. From the topmost planet down, everywhere there is influence of these three modes. So that is why Krishna says to Arjuna in 45th verse of the second chapter, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nishtraigunnyo Bhavarjuna Nirbandho Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. Come on, transcend these modes. Come on, transcend these modes. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of these three modes. So come on, transcend these modes. So everything in the material world is under the modes of nature. So that is why the transcendental knowledge is the purest, and we read in the 4th chapter of the Gita how to attain the transcendental knowledge. Tadvidi pranipaptena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam. And in parampara, through parampara we have to know this transcendental knowledge. Of course, when we accept a spiritual master, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, render service unto him and inquire from him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So like that, this chapter, very beginning, Arjuna is asking this question. In the 16th chapter, Krishna said, the previous chapter, which is divine and demoniac natures, Krishna told that what is the main criterion difference between divine and demoniac? Divine people, they follow the sadhu shastra guru. They don't act there whimsically. Everything that they do, all the rules and regulations, they follow the regulative principles of the do's and don'ts, pravrittimcha, nivrittimcha, janana, vidra. So they follow the scriptures, sadhu, shastra, guru. And anything that they do, it is in light in those direction of sadhu, shastra, guru. They don't act whimsically whatever they feel like doing. Whereas the demoniac, although they both are coming from Prajapatis only, but whoever abides, whoever has faith in the scriptures is called divine, and those who don't have faith in the scriptures is called demoniac. And Krishna says in the 16th chapter, Trividham narakasya idam dwaram na shanamatmanaha kamakrodas tatha lobhas tasmade tatrayam tyajet. There are 3 gates leading to this hell: lust, anger and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Then Krishna is saying that in 23rd verse of the 16th chapter, Yashastra vidhi mutsrijja vartate kamakarataha nasasiddhim avapnoti nasukham na paramgatim. He who discards the scriptural injunctions and acts according to their own whims neither attains nasasiddhim, what is that? Yashastra vidhi mutsrijja vartate kamakarataha nasasiddhim. They neither attain perfection, and nasukham, nor happiness, nor the supreme destination. So none of this. So that is why one has to follow the Shastra. Tasmak Shastram Pramanam te karya vyavasthito gnatva Shastra vidhanoktam karma kartam ihar. But therefore one should know what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of scripture and act accordingly. Otherwise we are not going to get anywhere. So like that Krishna said very clearly in the 16th chapter, those who follow Shastra, they are divine. So in the 17th chapter, in the very first verse, Arjuna is asking Krishna. Arjuna inquired, "Oh Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of scriptures but worship according to their own imagination?" They have some faith with which they don't follow the scriptures, but they, according to their own imagination, they have faith in somebody, they worship somebody. What is the situation? What is the fate of such people who are worshipping somebody according to their own imagination? That is not shastrically aligned. What about such people? What will happen? Are they in mode of goodness, passion or ignorance? Then Krishna is saying, next verse, Trividham, he says, Trividha bhavati shraddha dehi nam sa svabhavaja satviki rajasi chaiva tamasi chetitam shrunu. So what is Krishna telling here? According to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can also be in 3 varieties. What is this? According to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can also be of 3 kinds: in goodness, in passion or ignorance. So with the association of the modes, our faith also, we develop some faith to whom we are going to worship. Then he is saying, Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata shraddha mayoyam purusho yoyak shraddha sayeva saha. O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living entity is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. The modes of nature will determine what faith he will have, who will he worship, what kinds of foods he will eat, what kinds of sacrifices he will do, what type of austerities he will do, what type of charities he will do. Everything is determined by these 3 modes of nature. So then, so somebody is in the mode of passion and ignorance and goodness. So here it is said that in the Gita, it is said that acts performed by those whose faith in the mode of passion and ignorance yield only impermanent material results, whereas acts performed in goodness in accord with the scriptural injunctions purify the heart and lead to pure faith in Lord Krishna and devotion to him. So any faith that is in the mode of passion and ignorance yield only impermanent material results, whereas acts performed in goodness in accord with the scriptural injunctions purifies the heart and lead to pure faith in Lord Krishna and devotion to him. So Krishna concludes this chapter saying that anything done as sacrifice, charity or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Pritha, is impermanent. So anything that we do, sacrifice, charities or penance, without faith in the Supreme is impermanent, and it is called asat. It is not sat, it is asat, and is useless both in this life and in the next. So like that, Krishna is saying, so this is how we develop. Then it is said that, so who will worship? Mode of goodness people who worship who? Mode of passion people worship who? Mode of ignorance people worship who? Men in the mode of yajante satvika devan yaksharaksham rajasaha pretan bhutaganaschanye yajante tamasa jana. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods, those in the mode of passion worship the demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. Then Krishna is saying that now so far Krishna said that the worship, now we are going to see what austerities they perform. People, those who don't have faith like that. Ashastra vihitam ghoram tapyante ye tapo janaha dhambahankara samyukta kamaraga balanvitaha karshayantah sharirastam bhutagramam machetasah mam chaivantah sharirastam tan vidya sunanishchayan. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, so they are doing whimsically. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism. Pride and egoism. Who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish and who torture the material elements of the body as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. So demons, what do? They concoct their own method of religion and they follow their whimsical actions and they torture the material elements of the body also. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures. There is no scriptural recommendation. Just doing whimsical out of our own will. Performing them out of pride and egoism. This is very demoniac. Who are impelled by lust and attachment. Krishna says in 16th chapter of the Gita, Dambo darpo vimanascha krodha parushyameva ajnanam cha bijatasya partha sampadamasurim. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, ignorance, all these things are demoniac nature. So they are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish and who torture the material elements of the body as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. We are going to discuss that more detailedly when I come to my verse of today's. Then even the food each person prefers is of three kinds according to the three modes of material nature. Aharastvapi sarvasya trividho bhavati priyaha yajnastapastata danam tesham bhedam mimam shrunu. Even the food each person prefers is of three kinds according to the three modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifices, austerities and charity. Now here of the distinctions between them. Then Krishna is going to talk about three verses of foods in the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. Aharastvapi sarvasya ayusatva balarogya sukha priti vivardhanaha rasya snigdha stira hridya ahara satvika priyaha. So what are the kinds of foods mode of goodness people choose and what is the result of eating such foods? That Krishna very nicely explains in this verse. Foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, give strength, health, happiness and satisfaction. And what is the nature of such foods? Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome and pleasing to the heart. So what are the foods in the mode of goodness? More foods in the mode of goodness gives foods in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, give strength, health, happiness and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty and wholesome and pleasing to the heart. So this is the foods mode of goodness people choose. A person who is in knowledge, if he sees a person what kind of food he is eating, he can immediately tell in which mode of nature he is associated with. So it is that is why knowledge is very wisdom. When we have this knowledge, we cannot act in ignorance. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andhakar Yahan Krishna Tahan Nahi Maya Radhikar. The knowledge is like Surya, bright sun. When the light and darkness cannot coexist. When there is light, there cannot be darkness. When there is darkness, there cannot be light. When you have that light, then you work in the brightness. So here, So foods, so now we'll discuss about the foods in the mode of passion. Katvam lalavanatyushna tikshna ruksha vidahinaha ahara rajasasyeshta dukkha shokamaya pradaha. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, pungent, dry, burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry and burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. What is the result of eating such foods in the mode of passion? It causes distress, misery and disease. Distress, misery and disease. We will wonder, oh, why did I get this hypertension, high blood pressure? Eating too much salt, to eating too many pickles, very spicy food, too salty, so hot, pungent, dry and burning are dear to those, like masala and all this very hot and spicy food. So the result is distress, misery and disease. Now Krishna is going to talk about ignorance food. So it said that yatayamam gatarasam puti pariyushitam chayat uchishtam api chamedhyam bhojanam tamasapriyam. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things are dear to those in the mode of darkness. So darkness means ignorance. So what is the type of food the mode of ignorance people prefer? So actually any food that is prepared more than 3 hours becomes ignorance, except food that is offered to the Lord. So food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed and putrid, and food consisting of untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. Then Krishna is now going to explain about sacrifices in 3 modes. So Krishna says in 9th chapter of the Gita that aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha natumam abhijananti tatvena taschavanti te. I am the only enjoyer of all sacrifices and austerities. Those who do not know this, so he is the supreme enjoyer, he is bhukta of all the sacrifices and austerities. Apalakang, so now we are going to read about the mode of goodness sacrifice, how it is done as a matter of duty without expecting any benefits in return, and only as a matter of duty, and also by those who desire no reward, that is in the mode of goodness. Apalakankshi bhiryagno vididishto yajjate yashtavyam me veti mana samadhaya sasatvikaha. Of sacrifices, a sacrifice performed according to the directions of scripture as a matter of duty by those who desire no reward is of the nature of goodness. Abhisandhaya tu phalam dambhartam apichaiva yat ijjate bharata sreshta tam yajnam vidhirajasam. But the sacrifice performed for some material benefit, so people do sacrifices to gain some material benefit. It is not for any higher cause, understanding that it's for the supreme like that, and it is for their own more selfish thing. But sacrifice performed for some material benefit or for the sake of pride and honor. They want to show off more like that, dikhava. Or for the sake of pride, O chief of the Bhartas, you should know to be in the mode of passion. Vidihinam asrishtanam mantrahinam madakshinam shraddha virahitam yajnam tamasam parichakshate. What is the mode of ignorance? Sacrifice in the mode of ignorance. Any sacrifice. So when we do any sacrifice, 5 things are very, very important. What is that? It should be according to scriptures, and we have to chant Vedic hymns, and whatever sacrifice we do, we have to distribute food to pay, distribution of prasadam, and also give charity, and also it should be with the faith we have to do, not with no faith. Any sacrifice performed without regard for the directions of the scripture. So these 5 things are very important. Any sacrifice we do, these 5 things are very, very important. What is that? Any sacrifice performed without regard for the directions of the scripture, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remuneration to the priest, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. So that is why these are all scriptural injunctions that Krishna is telling that how we can do a perfect sacrifice in the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. Then now we are going to read about threefold austerities. Austerity of the body, austerity of the speech and austerity of the mind. What is that? Devadvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapauchyate. So when we, with the body, what are we meant to do with this body? How we are going to do austerities with this body? Very importantly is Deva, worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Dvija, Brahmanas, Guru, Deva Dvija Guru, spiritual master, and Prajna, superiors like father and mother. So with this body, what are we meant to do? We have to worship the Supreme Lord and Brahmanas and Guru and superiors like father and mother, and also simplicity, celibacy and non-violence. Superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy and non-violence. Then what is the austerity of speech? This is very, very important. We all speak, right? We cannot not speak. We have to speak. So what is the austerity of speech? How do we use our speaking propensity? Of course, in the Bhakti Rasamrita, Upadeshamrita, Rupa Goswami says that whenever anybody gets opportunity, they want to talk. What they talk, they want to talk. Any small opportunity they get, they want to talk. So people who talk anything other than spiritual topics are considered to be croaking of rocks. You know, like croaking of rocks, they just talk some mundane material things, gram katha. Then they are compared, like, you know, in the fields, what will happen? In the field, there is a water, stagnant water there are frogs, right? Rip-ip, rip-ip, rip-ip. So this frog's croaking, it is inviting the snake to come and gulp it. If it doesn't croak, the snake doesn't know where the frog is. But by its croaking, it is inviting its own death. It's inviting the snake, come and gulp me, like that. So like that, similarly in the material world, people who talk anything other than Krishna topics are considered to be like croaking of rocks only. It is just of no value. So what the speech should be like, how it should be? Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapauchyate. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful. So anything that we speak should be truthful, and then pleasing and beneficial to others. Whatever we speak, it should be very pleasing to hear, and it should be truthful, and it should also be beneficial. Anything I speak, it should be beneficial to other person. And also how we should, and also it should not be udvega karam vakyam. Udvega means not agitating to others. Anything that we speak, it should not agitate others' minds. So that is not definitely allowed. Not agitating to others. And also how should we use our speaking propensity? And also in regularly reciting Vedic literatures. We have to read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, chant the slokas, prayers offered by great souls in Bhagavatam. So many great souls. Bhishmadev, Prahalad Maharaj, Gajendra, Prithu Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj. So many wonderful prayers in Bhagavatam. We can learn those prayers and recite every day, and recite Bhagavad Gita slokas every day, Bhagavatam slokas every day. And whatever we speak, it should be, it is said that whatever we speak, it should be upheld by the scriptures. If I speak something, then it is, I can quote some verse upholding whatever I am speaking. I will be, the process of speaking in spiritual circles is to say something upheld by the scriptures. One should at once quote from the scriptural authority to back up what he is saying. Whatever we say, we have to back up with the scriptural authority, like that. So it should not be like whimsically talking something. So that is the very important. Austerity of speech consists of speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literatures. So this is the austerity of speech. And what is the austerity of the mind? Manaha prasada saumyatvam maunamatma vinigraha bhava samshuddhirityeta tapomana samuchyate. And satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. Now, Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastat trividham narai apalakankshi bhiryuktai satvikam parichakshate. This threefold austerity performed with transcendental faith by men not expecting material benefits but engaged only for the sake of the Supreme is called austerity in goodness. So now what is austerity in the mode of passion? Satkaramana pujartam tapodambhena chaivayat kriyate taddiha proktam rajasam chalamadruvam. Penance performed out of pride for the sake of gaining respect, honor and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent. So this is the austerity of the in the mode of passion. Satkaramana pujartam tapodambhena cha. Austerity in the mode of passion. Penance performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect and honor and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent. So today's verse, Mudhagrahenatmano yat pidaya kriyate tapaha parasyotsadhanartham va tattamasamudahritam. Penance performed out of foolishness with self-torture or to destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. So some people, what do? There is no scriptural injunction that they have to do that, but they just do to get some material benefits like that. Like for example, Hiranyakashipu, the whole story of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, they were two sons of Diti and Kashyapa Muni. We know that how untimely Diti developed a desire to have children and she approached Kashyapa, and it was untimely, it was not a very good time at all. It was evening time when Kashyapa Muni was very much deeply engaged in his meditation. At that time she approached and she said that, I want to have children. So Kashyapa Muni tried to explain to her, this is not a very inauspicious time, just wait for some time, then later definitely. But then Diti said, no, now, like, again somehow Kashyapa Muni was not so strong enough, somehow he gave into that, and the result was two demoniac persons appeared, the Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. And Diti held this pregnancy for 100 years because once they come out, they are going to, because she is after all mother, however demoniac the children may be, still they are her children. So she held the pregnancy for a very long time, and even when they were in the womb of the mother, they created so much havoc, everything got dark all of a sudden. So the demigods, everybody were perturbed and they went to Brahma, and they had, then the Lord said, oh, this Hiranyakashipu, he is doing a great, actually. So this Diti, in the womb of this Diti, these two demons are there, that is causing all this. So you can go back, I will settle the situation like that. Then after they were born, there were even more great disturbances. Everything like, so irregularity, so much disturbance. The demons, So the demons, the difference between the demons and the divine is, the demoniac people, they have so much knowledge. They have a lot of knowledge, they know a lot of philosophy also. But only problem is they don't apply that in their life. Application is not there. So like that, the Hiranyakashipu, he did, like we saw that how Hiranyakashipu went to Mandarachala mountain to do severe austerities to gain the position of Brahma. He wanted to become Brahma, and also he wanted to occupy heavenly planets. So that's why he did severe austerities. He went to Mandarachala mountain and he stood on the tip of the toes, raising his hands up and looking at the sky. And so much fire was coming from him, like, so severe austerities. and there was an ant hill built upon him, ant hill, and then there were sticks and grass, everything. So then the demigods, they went and approached Brahma and they told, look, this Hiranyakashipu, he is doing so much severe austerities. You might already be knowing what is his purpose of doing all these things, but however we tell that he want to take your position, Brahma's position. So Brahma, then the demigods went and told Brahma, you are Brahma, you are the Lord of the universe, and everything, the Brahmanical culture, the cow protection and Brahmanas, everything is going perfect, sacrifices, everything religious, everything is in order. When this demon, he takes the position, everything will be very inauspicious. So your being the Brahma is very, very auspicious for the entire universe. All the Brahmanical culture, cow protection, worship of the Lord. So the religious principles are based on three things. What is that? Worship of the cows, worship of the Supreme Lord, worship of the cows, and worship of the Brahmanas. When these three are done, the religious principles are perfectly followed. So then, because you are Brahma, you are the Lord of the universe, everything is auspicious and everything is going perfect. But this demon, he is trying to occupy your position, then everything is going to be very inauspicious. So please do something about it. Then after hearing this, Brahma, he along with Bhrigu and other sages, he went to Mandarachala mountain to see what's going on with Hiranyakashipu. Then he went, he couldn't locate him actually because he was covered with so many sticks and anthill, and actually all his flesh was eaten by the white ants, Then he was only breathing, only the skeleton was left. He was breathing air through only that skeleton, that air was passing. That severe austerities he did. That's what we say, no? Penance, we just now read, what is that? Penance performed out of foolishness with self-torture. This is self-torture, but he didn't have to do so much. Like complete his complete skin was eaten by the ants, and he was only left with the skeleton, and the air was passing only through that skeleton. He maintained his life. And then Brahma, when he saw this, he was very much, he couldn't first locate where this Hiranyakashipu is because covered by the anthill, the sticks and grass, everything. Somehow he located and he saw, he was very much surprised by this great austerity of this Hiranyakashipu. Then, he put from the kind, he said that so far nobody has done such severe austerities. So from his kamandalu he put water and again he regained all the body back like that. Then we all know that how he occupied the heavenly planets and he wanted to remove all the other people. So like that he ruled all these things, and even Bali Maharaj also in 8th canto we see how all the demigods were driven out. He became the king of the heaven like that. So these demons then causing all this, then we all know that why he did all this. He wanted to be immortal and he didn't want anybody to control him. He should be the sole proprietor of everything. This is the main demoniac natures, no? They want nobody to control, and he wanted to be immortal. He doesn't want to die. So he asked this boon. We know that he went to Brahma and asked these boons. Either I should not die inside or outside by animal or by any creature like that, morning or evening, this and that, so many conditions, everything. Of course, later on, Lord Narasimhadev, he scolds Brahma for giving these boons. Because these demons, when the demigods give these boons to demons, they attack the demigods only who has given these boons. So that is why it is very giving them is like feeding milk to a poisonous snake. Like that. They attack. That is why in the whole Samudra Manthan pastimes, though the demons and demigods, they both together churned the ocean of milk and got this nectar, but finally Lord in the form of Mohini Murti came and gave nectar only to the demigods, not to the demons. Because it seems superficially that there is a partiality, because they both endeavored to get the nectar, but only the demigods got. But it is not like that. Lord knows everything, what is good, what is bad, everything. Accordingly He does. Because if we give demons the nectar, they'll become even more ferocious. Already they are ferocious. They are already very demoniac. And they become even stronger, like feeding milk to the poison. Yeah. So that is why the Lord is very careful. So He only gave the nectar to the demigods only. So like that, even we see in the, the Lord again told to Brahma, never give these boons to these demons, because they will come and attack us on those who have given only. So even in the story of Vrukasura, I don't know how many of you know the story of Vrukasura. That's a very interesting story. It is 88th chapter of the 10th canto. I think from my memory it should be 88th chapter. In the beginning, that chapter begins very interestingly. What the question is, it is said that the Lord Shiva is a great renunciant. He is very renunciant. We know that he doesn't even have a house. He lives in places where, graves and all, like wearing the skulls. He is very renounced. He doesn't even have a house. But his worshippers are very opulent. Shiva gives boons to his worshippers and they become very opulent. Whereas Lord Hari is very opulent, but his worshippers are very poor. This is very contradictory. How to understand this? Why the Lord Hari is very opulent, but his devotees are very poor. Whereas here Lord Shiva is a renunciant, but his devotees are very opulent. It is like this question is asked, and very nicely it is explained. The Lord is transcendental, and those who worship the Lord, they also become transcendental. They don't want it, but still the Lord very mercifully takes away everything from the devotee to make him, he won't have anything, so that he'll completely depend on the devotees, and he will be Yasyaham Anugrahanami, that verse comes. So the Lord takes away everything so that he become destitute, and he will depend on everybody will leave them, and then he become devotee association and advance like that. So like that, then what happened, this Vrukasura, he was a great demon. So he wanted to worship demigod, he wasn't sure whom to worship like that. So Narad Muni was passing by on the road and he asked, whom can I worship to fulfill my desire? Then he said, you can worship Lord Shiva like that. Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, they give boons very easily also, and they also curse very easily also. So like that, Ashutosh, one of the names of Lord Shiva is Ashutosh, is very easily pleased. So you can worship Lord Shiva and you can get your boons very quickly. Like that, Narad Muni instructed this Vrukasura. And Vrukasura, what he did, he wanted to do the sacrifice, and in that Lord, he was invoking Lord Shiva, he was cutting the flesh of his own body and offering in that fire. He was cutting flesh from his own body and offering in that fire. And then, he did for some time and no response, he wasn't getting his desired result. Then what he did, one day, he took bath of course he was taking bath every day, in the Kedarnath, he dipped his hair and then he completely wet himself, and he got so angry, he took his hatchet and he was going to kill himself. At that very time, Lord Shiva came from that fire and said, stop. He held his two hands. What are you doing? He said that, oh, no, nothing happening like that. Oh, stop this. What do you want? You tell me. Then Lord Shiva, Vrukasura said that, my desires are, what do you want? You tell me. What is your what benediction do you want? He said that, I want a benediction. Whosoever head I touch, he'll explode and he'll die. He has to die immediately like that. Oh, he was very much disturbed to hear such a benediction. What is this? Very not good. Killing somebody. What? This is what we read in this verse, today's verse. Penance performed out of foolishness with self-torture. He was cutting his flesh of his own body and putting it into the sacrificial fire. Or to destroy or injure others. To destroy others or injure others. is said to be in the mode of ignorance. So, like that, so this Vrikasura, what he was to cut the flesh from his own body and offering that. And then, like on the seventh day, he took hatchet and he was going to cut his head. The Lord Shiva held his both head. What are you doing? What benediction? Oh, whosoever head I touch, he has to die. Oh, this is a very weird and very, like, it was very disturbing Shiva to hear this type of benediction he wants. But somehow Lord Shiva granted that benediction. And guess what he did? As soon as he granted it, he wanted to try it out on Shiva only. And he started to run behind Shiva and was going to touch Shiva, and Shiva started to run. Oh my God, he fell in great anxiety. He had to go all over, run to avoid this demon. Same story as Ambarish Maharaj also. Ambarish Maharaj, Durvasa Muni, he wanted to created a demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj. But Ambarish Maharaj was gifted this Sudarshan Chakra by the Lord himself. Whenever you fall in trouble, you can use this Sudarshan Chakra. Then this Sudarshan Chakra started to chase this Durvasa Muni, and he was running like a madman all over. First Brahmaloka, then Shivaloka, then finally he had to go to the Lord, like that. So similarly here, this Lord Shiva had to run to escape from this. So finally he was put in great anxiety, and finally he went to the Vaikuntha Lord Hari. And then Lord Hari, what he did there was, then he said, he saw Shiva's dangerous situation, and then the Lord dressed up like a brahmachari, celibate, and he wore the kamandalu and all this chanting beads and everything, the deer skin, everything. And he approached this demon, Vrikasura, and he said, oh, what are you doing? What's going on, like that? Then he said, no, I want to touch the Shiva. I got this boon, I want to touch the head of Shiva, but he's escaping from me. Like, oh, what? Do you believe in all the benedictions of the Shiva like that? Do you really believe that? They may not even work. Do you really believe that? Oh, then, if you really believe it, then you can test on your own head. Just try to touch your own head. Then he touches, it will not explode like that. So like this, these demons, any boon we give them, they will attack the person who has given this boon only. That is very, very dangerous. So that is why they torture their own body, and also penance performed in Mudha Grahenatmanayat Pidaya Kriyate Tapaha Parasyotsadhanartam Va Tattamasam Udahritam. Penance performed out of foolishness with self-torture. Where was the need for Hiranyakashipu to stand on the tippy toes and for so long and raising his arms and everything like so? The air was only passing through his skeleton. And Brahma was very much surprised, and he said that so far nobody has done such a severe austerities like that. He was stunned actually. So like that, these demons, there is no scriptural regulation, nothing, just for the ulterior motives, their personal agendas, they do all these things, and finally they get killed by the Lord by these things. Hiranyakashipu, he challenged the Lord, is the Lord there in this pillar? Is he there? If he is there, show me. Then the Lord, to prove Prahlad's words true, yes, he is there in this. The Lord appeared and he came and killed Hiranyakashipu like that. And Vrikasura, he killed himself by touching his own head. Like that, these demons, they are so against, there's no faith at all. There's faith in faithlessness. They do all this. And they talk a lot of philosophy also. When we see the 7th canto, 2nd chapter, when Hiranyaksha was killed by Varahadev, Hiranyakashipu became so angry. And he called all his demoniac assistants to come and destroy everything. Go and destroy everywhere where Brahmanical culture is very prominent. Go and kill all the places where the yajnas are performed, all the cow sheds, everything, destroy. And the demons, they like the destructive activities. They put the Hiranyakashipu's advice on their head, and they started to do all this destructive activities. So in the 16th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says that The demons, they always do destructive activities. It's neither good for them nor for others. So like that, no, they always don't want to do very destructive activities. So like that, all these things. So like that, Hiranyakashipu, he told, go and destroy everything and come. So they did all that. Then at the afterwards, what happened? There was one king by name Suyagna. He was killed in the war field, and his wives and everybody, they were crying so much. He was the king of Ushinara, and his name was Suyagna. He was killed in the battlefield, and the body was dead, and he was all the wives, the queens, they were lamenting like anything. Even actually Rishabhan, who was the wife of Hiranyaksha, she was also, so Hiranyakashipu was consoling them. You are not the body, you are the soul. For the soul there is no death, that is only for the body. Everything is so temporary. All the people, they come to the restaurant and they eat, and after they meet everything, then they go to their own destinations. Like this, even this temporary life is so, everything is so temporary. We come together, then after death we all go take our, so he's talking so much philosophy, but when it comes to application, there's zero. That is the difference between divine and demoniac. Demoniac people, they are very knowledgeable, not that they are ignorant, they have lot of knowledge, they know lot of philosophy, but application is zero. So like that, then all these things happen, then the Suyagna story comes there. So like that, Hiranyakashipu talks all this philosophy. So this is how the demoniac people, the faithless people, Krishna says in the Gita, 3rd verse of 9th chapter, Ashraddadanaha Purusha Dharmasya Syaparantapa Aprapyamam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, a conqueror of enemies. They return to the path of birth and death in this material world. Krishna says those who are not faithful in this devotional service, today we are reading the chapter, the divisions of faith, right? Krishna is saying those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, a conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death. So if you don't put faith in Krishna, what will be the result? Will be again samsara chakra, janma mrityu jara vyadi, again repeated birth and death, repeated birth and death. So this is the result. So that is why Shraddha, faith. And Krishna says that the faith with which people worship anyone else, any demigod or anyone else, that faith also I only give. He says in 7th chapter 21st verse, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhaya architumichchati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. Those who worship the demigod, I sit in their hearts as super soul, and whoever desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady in that particular deity. Krishna is the one who gives that faith. Of course, Krishna is super soul within our heart. He knows whom we want to worship. So to worship anyone, we need that faith. Even that faith also Krishna only gives. And we don't worship Krishna. This demon people, so not good. So some people have no faith, that faith, they have faith in faithlessness. That is also faith. So like that, Krishna says that I only give the faith with which they worship some demigod. So this is how I conclude my lecture. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you all very much for your attention. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.